morning, West Michigan. I'm Emily Scarlett.
And I'm Deja Barrett. Tanner has the week off. Thank you for waking up with us and watching on 13 Plus on this Wednesday. We're halfway through the week. Chief Meteorologist Sam, what's the weather looking like?
Today's not going to be perfect. We got some snowfall, but you know what? Some are going to really be excited, I think, for this type of snow because we haven't had a ton of it yet this season. It's still a little bit of a ways away, which is why we're saying the arrival of that snowfall is not until this afternoon. Obviously, though, out ahead of it, a little bit of light snow before the bulk of that system arrives. These are snowfall totals. We just played through them hour by hour. They're not coming all at once. Of course, again, 1 p.m. until, let's say, midnight tonight, followed up by a little bit of light lake enhancement, 4 to 6 inches widespread. And you can see this is the case for a vast majority of the state, right? There's not a ton of nuance to this. It's system snow. I do think we could see some banding set up within the system itself that causes there to be some higher snowfall totals that result. That would likely push from 6 to 7, maybe 8 inches of snow here in West Michigan in very isolated pockets. There's that wave of lake effect behind it. We do have a secondary system that looks very similar in nature late Friday night and into Saturday morning that will bring additional accumulation. Again, very likely that we see another round of 5 to 6 inches of snow with that system. Looking like a Christmas tree, our map here. We've got weather today, and finally, Amber, everybody is getting a taste of winter. We have had so many little systems clip our area, but this time around, we've got winter alerts, winter weather advisories starting at 1 p.m. and then continuing on until 7 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Now, further off to the west, though, that's where you have some of those pink colors. That's winter storm warnings. We're all underneath a winter weather advisory that starts up this afternoon, continuing into tomorrow morning. But this is all from the exact same system that will continue to track further to the east and northeast as we're heading a little bit later in the day and into tonight as well.
And of course, bringing all this snowfall, all this moisture up in and along with it, bringing us some accumulating snowfall. Now, this morning we do have a little bit of light snow coming down, but that's not the bulk of the system. Amber, that arrives closer to lunchtime today, right?
Yeah, we're not seeing it quite yet, but once we're getting closer to noon, and then this will also continue into the afternoon, plenty more snow on the way that will be taking over the Mitten State. Now, this is something that we will be seeing with us not just through the afternoon, but into this evening, continuing into tonight as well. But a lot of it does start to wrap up by about midnight or so. So through this evening commute, that's where things are looking pretty rocky. But once things start to move out past midnight, just a little bit of lingering lake effect at least.
Yeah, so the heaviest of snow falling during the evening commute time frame, which is not perfect conditions, right? We're expecting anywhere from around, let's say, 4 to 6 inches of snow on a broad brush note. There will be isolated amounts that are slightly higher. Coming up here in just about 6 minutes from now, we're going to time out those 6 minutes, or not 6 minutes, those 6 inches of snow, when they're going to arrive and when they're going to exit. So stick with us.
Samantha Jax, ladies, what's in store for us later today?
A little bit of winter weather's on deck, guys. This is going to be widespread system snow that mainly impacts your evening commute tonight. But look at this. We are not alone in the winter alerts. Looks like a Christmas tree behind me with all the different alerts. We've got winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories, even an ice storm warning right now in portions of Ohio. So needless to say, this system is broad in scope and, of course, bringing us impacts as well.
Yeah, some pretty widespread impacts across not just much of the Midwest, but even extending into portions of New England, extending further west into portions of the Great Plains.
Yeah, what a season.
Now, we are going to be seeing a winter weather advisory in place. That all starts up this afternoon, extending into tomorrow morning. So starting this afternoon at 1 p.m. and continuing during the overnight hours, only expiring by about 7 a.m. tomorrow.
Now, when it does expire, we will see a little bit of light lake effect snow behind it, but the bulk of that system snow will be done by then. Now, here's where we're currently sitting at. We've got very light snowfall on the leading edge of this coming down, mainly south of the 96 corridor. The bulk of the snow, though, is still yet to come. Again, as Amber mentioned, arriving at our doorsteps closer to that 1 o'clock time frame and then really picking up in intensity during the evening commute.
Yeah, evening commute is when we're going to be seeing the highest snowfall rates, it coming down the hardest, and likely when we're also going to be seeing the lowest visibility. So as we're heading into this afternoon, this is all starting right around lunchtime. This is when we start to see the snowfall, but system snow continues throughout this afternoon, getting heavier into this evening as well. So this is looking at 4 p.m. when we have some of these darker blues showing up, becoming a little bit more scattered into tonight, and things start to wrap up once you get past midnight, but then some lake effect to follow behind it during the overnight hours and into tomorrow morning too.
Now, the good news is that the lake has gotten a lot colder recently. We've had a lot more ice coverage build up on it, which limits the amount of lake effect that we will see. I don't see huge impacts from that behind the system, but it's going to add on a couple inches potentially as we head throughout the day tomorrow. But again, this is a weather impact alert. This is system snow, different different from lake effect snow in the fact that it's going to be a little bit wetter. It's going to be a little bit trickier to clean up. You might need to take some break shoveling, especially if you start to get to the higher end of those snowfall totals. But we'll talk and break down the timing of snowfall totals and how much you could expect in your backyard coming up about 6 minutes from now. We're intense. Now, we are not going to be underneath the heaviest of snow here in West Michigan, but we're certainly going to get our fair share. We're starting off our morning with a little bit of light snowfall already, mainly south of the 96 corridor, and this is not even the main system. This is just a little bit ahead of the bulk of that system, which is expected to arrive to our doorstep by the time we hit around noon today. So this is along the lake shore's edge by noon. Notice model run's not even picking up on that light leading edge of snow, which means our snowfall totals will likely be a little bit underestimated by the models. These are the kinds of things that we really have to pay attention to throughout the day today. But we're seeing that widespread snowfall really take hold between 2 p.m. continuing on until around 7 o'clock. So the evening commute is going to be messy. We start to see the snow breaking apart overnight tonight. A little bit of lake enhancement behind it. I don't think that lake effect snow is going to amount to a ton. Of course, our snowfall totals ranging from 5 to 6 inches. We've been saying that for a couple of days now. It doesn't all come at once, but we are expecting ½ to inch per hour snowfall rates. So it's a relatively short period of time. By the evening commute, we're already looking at around 2 to 3 inches of snow on the ground. By midnight tonight, 4 to 6 inches of snow on the ground. And then again, that light lake effect accumulation behind it headed into your early Thursday afternoon. Whether or not the kids will have a snow day tomorrow, that's going to be up to the superintendents because they've been through and you've got both of us standing at the BAM. And that's your sign to say, okay, we got to pay attention today. Look at these alerts. They're so expansive all the way from Denver, Colorado. They've got winter weather advisories there. Omaha, Nebraska underneath winter storm warnings. We even have an ice storm warning in portions of Ohio and then up the East Coast too. Amber, a high-end winter weather advisory for us.
Yeah, this system is definitely going to be impactful. I mean, the entirety of the Lower Peninsula is under some type of alert. Vast majority of us underneath a winter weather advisory that kicks in at 1 p.m. this afternoon, lasting during the overnight hours and into tomorrow morning as well, only expiring by about 7 a.m. And that's going to be from that snow that is moving in as we're heading into the afternoon.
We've been tracking this system for days now. It's finally coming to fruition. You can see we have a little bit of light snowfall on the leading edge of the system itself, but we still have much more to come with the heaviest of snow anticipated to fall right during the evening commute.
Ooh,
Perfect timing always.
Yeah, exactly. The timing of it definitely not ideal by any means. Now things start to move in once we get past 12 p.m. So after lunchtime, that's when things really start to kick up. Look at some of these darker blues that are showing up as we're heading into this evening. This is a look at 4 p.m. Already starting to see some more significant snowfall rates that we're going to be expecting. That continues through, especially throughout the evening, starting to become more scattered as we're heading into tonight as well, before system snow is moving out by about midnight or so, and then lingering lake effect to follow.
Yeah, the good news is that Lake Michigan has gotten a little bit colder, which means that we don't see quite the ratios we need for intense lake effect snow to form. It hasn't shut off yet for the season, but it shouldn't be as impactful nearly as some of the past lake effect systems we've seen, only adding on maybe another inch or two. Again, 1 p.m. to midnight, evening commute's going to be the worst drive. This is plowable snow. You'll want to have the snowblower gassed up for this evening and give yourself extra travel time tonight and potentially into tomorrow morning, where Mr. Dave Cackley will be working extra hard starting off his Thursday. Today becoming widespread between 1 to 2 p.m. and then intensifying from 3 o'clock until about 9 p.m. tonight, clearing the area by midnight. Hour by hour forecast will show exactly that. Anywhere that you start to see these darker shades of blue, right, that's where we're going to hit that 5 to 6 inch mark of snowfall. The reason that our northern edge has a lightly lower snowfall totals is because you're not seeing quite as high snowfall rates as the rest of us the further inland that you travel, but you're still expecting about 4 to 5 inches of snow, so not a huge difference there. We start to see the snowfall pattern break apart some and that low pressure system clear between 9 p.m. and midnight, becoming scattered. And then as the system exits, I do think with our winds shifting to out of the north and west, we will see some light lake enhanced snow behind it itself before drying back out. Now, of course, all of our snow does not come at once. This is 1 p.m. today, starting to see that ½ inch begin to accumulate. By 3 o'clock, we will be somewhere between 1 to 2 inches on the ground. 5 p.m. looking at around 2 to 3 inches of snowfall, and then starting to reach our 5 to 6 inch range during the overnight hours, and then with that little bit of lake effect snow on top of it as we head throughout your Thursday. The highest snowfall rates are expected to be during the evening commute time frame, so it's not necessarily the amount of snow, but the timing of snow that's definitely making for those inconveniences. This is not our only system this week. We do have a secondary system inbound late Friday night and into Saturday. Looks to bring very similar snowfall amounts.
The weather to be cuddling.
Oh,
today.
yeah.
Exactly.
This afternoon.
Dave, I still can't believe you just said all